Oh man, I thought of another one. I'm on a roll into the grave. Roll over, Beethoven. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah. So, I'm an illustrator. I don't get paid for it yet. I hope that's a yet. But anyways, so here's my gear. A mechanical pencil, simple, from like Bic. I usually take unless I like the look of the pencil, I usually take that part where you're supposed to hook it onto your shirt off because it gets in the way of my palm, the top side of their palm. And then I put a nice squishy rubber grip. Alright, grip. Because I tend to hold the pencil a little hard. It just feels so much better. I've never realized the usefulness of a grip until now. What else do I use? And then, I got a nice attachable pocketed socket eraser. I gotta cut off a little bit of the rim with some scissors, or else it would get in the way of me pushing the eraser down, the top down to get more graphite out. Graphite, remember, we don't use lead anymore, else we get cancer. But anyways, you remember that? So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, and then I use a nice Hunt 102 Crow Quill from Speedball. I think they had the monopoly on those things. And I use some nice Speedball India ink. I used to feed it with a stupid eyedropper, but then I realized how pointless that is. So I just started dipping it instead. And you know what? For a little while, instead of using those types of inks... Oh, and I use a rubber grip on that Crow Quill as well. But anyways, for a while I used ultra fine and then fine line Sharpies. And then I would use only like for a little bit of time I used a Pigma marker. I got a nice rare, I'm assuming a rare blue one with black ink. And I'm keeping that safe because that's both for emergency and, well, I don't know what. I never fucking used Pigma markers. And I got like 10 of them. All 0.3 millimeter. Gosh darn it. Because you know why the problem is? I found them kind of obsolete in the face of a quill. No. Don't get too up in arms yet. Because you see, there are extreme setbacks to a quill. A quill supposedly gets dull over time. I had no idea. A quill is very prone to leakage. I have seen that myself so many times. Yes, I mean dip pen. It's so prone to leakage, it's insane. Alright? Drawing a straight line using a ruler with a quill is torture. You'd rather have your internet history exposed to the whole world than deal with that shit. What else? They have this stupid coating over the nib in order to protect from the oxygen, so you can't use rubbing alcohol, which works dandy on India ink for removal and all that good shit. What else? Those Crow Quills can prick you, and they hurt. Oh man, do they hurt. Give me 1 second. But, oh yeah, and they tend to be pretty expensive. Oh, but the thing is, those setbacks are basically multiplied by Pigma Fineliners. Now I'm using Pigma specifically, but I'm pretty sure Copics can receive some of the same blame as well. Alright. Pigmas cost an arm and a leg for no reason. They dry out really quickly. See, you think they run out of ink, so you try to refill them with more ink. But no, that's not the case. India ink does not work in a Pigma marker. Do I know why? No. Pigma marker ink is significantly brighter than India ink. It's less black. What good is ink that blends in with a pencil? When you erase the final pencils in your drawing, guess what happens? The eraser takes some of the ink with it. That's just the best thing ever. So it's completely pointless as ink. And then what else? Yeah, they're unrefillable. So they're expensive. They're not as dark. They erase somehow. They dry out really quickly. With a dip pen, and this is what I'm currently doing right now, I'm still using it even though it's supposed to be replaced. And it works just fine for little thin lines. Really thin. So, and the thing is, but the Pigma has two huge advantages. You can use a ruler easily with it, and very easily, and you don't have to draw at like a nearly horizontal angle. The thing is, you could basically bypass that with the dip pen as well. You gotta get a classic ruler with a nice raised metal strip. Alright? That's how you use it. And then you gotta raise your drawing board up at a sort of horizontal place. Or a horizontal position. Sometimes you gotta stroke the quill, use a quill stroke in the opposite direction from you. In case the ink is giving you problems. I wish I knew that back then. I sacrificed 5 nibs to not understanding gravity. Apparently weather can manipulate ink fluidity, which is always annoying. I heard something that Pigma, Copic, just Fineliners in general, tend to bleed. Oh, that's another thing I totally forgot about. Even if your ink lasts a long time, guess what? The felt tip starts splaying. That's really nice. So, if your felt tip starts fucking up, and then you have a hard time getting that damn ink thing out, good luck keeping it fresh for another stupid marker. You're basically shit out of luck. I mean, it's really funny. In the, I think, 90s, I'm not saying I lived through that. I'm 23. I just turned 23. So, I definitely didn't live through the 90s. I heard that both Pigmas, specifically Pigmas, and dip pens were super popular. Really odd. But anyways, yeah. Just get a quill. A nice Hunt 102 Crow quill. You can do nice thick lines with it as well. It can just basically do everything as long as you're willing to learn how to use it to basically do everything. Make sure you get a box of 12. And then just get one handle. You don't need more. Oh, there's one problem though. You gotta be careful with how much ink you put, because if that thing flows back into the handle, then that thing is it's easier to solve rocket science than trying to get the damn metal shards out that you inevitably caused trying to take the nib out. What you gotta do is you gotta introduce some rubbing alcohol into the handle specifically, not to any more of the nib than you need to. And then you gotta get a toothpick, poke around in there, grab the nib, and then you gotta revolve it, jerk it around a little bit. Not jerk it off, jerk it around. in the handle, and then eventually maybe it'll come off. That's what you gotta do. Oh, and if you want to do really small straight lines, I guess that's one thing. You can't do really tiny straight lines with a big ass ruler. You're just gonna have to rely on your own free hand. So, yeah, there's that. But yeah, fine liners are obsolete. Quill for the win.